Early intervention in helping special needs children. 250 Sape players to set a new record. And Sarawak highest in children vaccination rate. Those are the headlines for tonight. I'm Hari Zainuddin and this is TVS Nightline. Parents are urged to be aware of their children's growth and behavior, as some may be facing difficulties with normal mental growth and development. If parents notice any behavior that differs from a normal growth, they are urged to refer their child to a health specialist or an intervention center. Minister of Women, Childhood and Community Wellbeing Development, Datuk Sri Fatimah Abdullah said, with therapy treatment and early intervention, children with special needs have a better chance of undergoing mainstream learning processes. According to Fatimah, early intervention is the best option to ensure a bright future for children with special needs.
My advice to parents is, if your child is not developing normally or does not reach his milestone by a certain age, get him or her diagnosed as early as possible. Early intervention is crucial in helping special needs children to improve, and some of them may be able to join mainstream education if they make significant progress after undergoing therapy.
She added that there are currently many intervention centers that have proven effective in helping many children with special needs. Using the One-Stop Early Intervention Center or OSEIC in Kuching as an example, Fatimah said the center had successfully helped 100% of children enrolled with the center to participate in the mainstream learning process.
The 100% success of 6 Sarawak children joining formal education bears testimony to the effectiveness of early intervention on young special needs children. Inshallah, all 6 Sarawak will continue to offer the beacon of hope to many more parents and make a big difference in the lives of young special needs children in Sarawak. Parents who send their children to OSIC Sarawak pay only a token monthly sum of 50 ringgit for once-a-week session or 100 ringgit for twice-a-week session.
Fatimah said this while officiating the One-Stop Early Intervention Center OSEIC Sarawak 2022 graduation ceremony at the Waterfront Hotel in Kuching on Friday. Also present during the ceremony was Yang Amat Berbahagia Tuan Puan Datuk Patinggi Hajah Ragat Kurdi Taib. Deputy Chief Minister Dato' Ahmad Douglas UGGAH Embas wants the Public Works Department or JKR to find ways to speed up the construction of 2 road projects in Spao. The 2 road projects are the Ulu Paku Ulu Gerenjang Ulu Krian Ulu Kota Road Phase 1 project and the Penom Ulu Bayo Danau Road Phase 1 project.
Expressing his concern over the delays, UGGAH instructed JKR to come up with solutions for the respective contractors to catch up on the delays. During his visit to the 2 projects, he said the 15.2 million ringgit 6.92 kilometer Ulu Paku, Ulu Gerenjang, Ulu Krian, Ulu Kota Road is now at 29% completion, which was scheduled to be completed on 13 October 2021. The road construction has been rescheduled to be completed by 27 March 2022. The second project, the 7.4-kilometer-long Penom to Danau Road, was scheduled to be completed on 30th April 2021. However, the 9.9 million ringgit project was then rescheduled to be completed last 22nd February, but is currently only at 45% completion. UGGAH explained that among the reasons for the delay were insufficient machineries at the sites, bad weather, and termination of subcontractors for poor performances.
Now, in a bid to strengthen human resource development, The Ministry of Education, Innovation and Talent Development will focus on the development of the digital world. According to Datuk Roland Sagah, people are drawn to the use of digital. Hence, it will be one of the ministry's main focuses in helping to develop existing talents and, at the same time, continue nurturing new talents.
If it is, and a lot of the have performed very well in this sort of talents, the creative arts, in the soft skills, sports, in music, in fashion, modeling. We have also gone to become beautiful people, beautiful models, and have captured several trophies for them. Those are talents. But I believe my ministry will not look after that. My ministry will be more on, or if you create something that makes life easier for you, that is the talent we are looking for. So those are mostly industrial talents. And some of it involve the digital talents.
Sagah said this in his speech after being appointed as the new advisor for the Dayak Bidayuh National Association (DBNA), replacing Datuk Amar Michael Manyin Jawong. He hoped that the Bidayuh community will unite to strengthen themselves so that they can make progress together. An estimated 7,000 telecommunications towers and structures are needed to provide full network coverage on the entire populated areas in Sarawak. Utility and Telecommunications Minister Datuk Julaihi Narawi said collaboration among telecommunications stakeholders is very important in ensuring that the state would achieve full coverage by 2025. Julaihi, however, emphasized that a few factors need to be taken into account before the entire construction is done, such as the vast and challenging terrains in Sarawak. Noting the heavy responsibility involved in view of the size and geographical challenges in Sarawak, Julaihi stressed that even so, the towers are needed in order for Sarawak to attain full network coverage.
Kita juga mengharapkan agar untuk membolehkan keseluruhan Sarawak, kawasan Sarawak dapat total coverage. Kita anggarkan bahawa 7,000 menara telco diperlukan dibina di seluruh Sarawak. Dan ini merupakan satu cabaran yang beratlah sebab kita melihat bahawa Sarawak luas, Sarawak mempunyai bentuk muka bumi yang agak mencabar. Kita berharaplah dengan walaupun ada dengan cabaran-cabaran ini, kita berharap dapat membina bilangan menara yang diperlukan.
As such, Julaihi hoped that the discussion will bring positive outcomes from time to time for the progress of the state of Sarawak. Among the telecommunication agencies that participated in yesterday's session were SMA, MCMC, SDAC, Sakofa Sendirian Berhad, Sarawak Information Systems Sendirian Berhad, and Sarawak Energy Berhad, while the major service providers were Telekom Malaysia Berhad, Celcom Asia Berhad, DG Telecommunications Sendirian Berhad for Sarawak, Maxis Berhad, and U Mobile Sendirian Berhad. Sarawak Gendang Festival has been described as an important platform for promoting and popularizing the traditional Malay gendang or drum. According to the Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, Datuk Sri Nancy Shukri, regardless of ethnicity, it has been passed down from generation to generation and is enjoyed by all.
Matlamat utama penganjuran Festival Gendang Sarawak ini adalah untuk mewujudkan jaringan kepelbagaian seni budaya wilayah Sarawak yang kukuh dan mampu menyatupadukan hubungan masyarakat melalui aktiviti seni budaya yang unik ini. Saya berharap usaha positif ini dapat meningkatkan input pengetahuan tentang seni bergendang, bermukun dan bertandak dalam kalangan keluarga Malaysia, insya-Allah.
Minister of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts Sarawak Dato Sri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah is of the same opinion that among the purpose for organising this festival was to bring back the art, heritage, tradition and culture of drumming and bermukun.
Perlu diserelahkan kerana keunikan dan juga keindahan nilai estetika seninya yang tersendiri. Menerusi platform ini yang memberikan ruang antara pemimpin dan juga masyarakat serta komuniti untuk saling beramah mesra, bersuah muka dan merapatkan lagi ukhuwah dan silaturahim. Selain itu, ia turut memberi ruang untuk memperbagaikan elemen seni dan budaya melalui falsafah kehidupan yang harmoni dan juga berlandaskan elemen kerohanian.
A total of 5 categories have been listed in the Sarawak Gendang Festival, namely Tata Rias Gendang Melayu Sarawak, Busana Gendang Melayu Sarawak, Lagu Gendang Sarawak, Tandak Remaja, and Dewasa Gendangan Sarawak. This festival is held annually except in 2020 and 2021, following the implementation of the Movement Control Order MCO due to COVID-19.
On the other hand, the traditional lute of the Orang Ulu community, known as Sape, will take center stage on the closing night of Citrawarna Keluarga Malaysia 2022 this Sunday, where 250 Sape players will attempt to set a new record for the Malaysia Book of Records, MBOR.
Sape teacher Elizabeth Bungan, aged 32, who is also the founder of Culture Meet Studio, which runs the traditional musical instrument class set. 250 Sape musicians from all over Malaysia will perform simultaneously for 5 minutes at Kuching Waterfront. Elizabeth said the musicians came from various ethnic backgrounds who shared an interest in playing the instrument and upholding Sarawak traditional music. During the training, she said the Sape players were divided into several small groups, with each session limited to 50 players only, in addition to having to take the COVID-19 test before participating. Elizabeth said they only held face-to-face training sessions for 3 days before the big day. Although the training session was very short, with the cooperation of all, she was confident that a new MBOR record could be achieved. Elizabeth, or better known as Ellie, who is half Kenya, half Bekatan, started her career as a professional Sape player in 2016 after performing at the Rainforest World Music Festival, RWMF. She became known to many when she began uploading her Sape playing sessions on social media sites, especially Facebook. Apart from being invited to perform at official functions, Elizabeth has also performed alongside 2 famous Sarawak Sape icons, Jerry Kamet and Alina Murang, at RWMF 2019.
Apa yang kita buat adalah sebagai satu persediaan. Persediaan masa akan datang.
Ya, niat guru okeylah if nak lebih-lebih ada efek kita orang ambil tanda aja ni ada.
Cuba tak imagine kami ngajarnya dari umur 7 tahun maca, umur 15 buatnya pandai maca.
Alhamdulillah nampak perkembangan. Dia berani bersosial, bercakap, berkomunikasi dengan orang lain.
Minggu ini, TVS bawakan kepada anda filem drama romantik klasik arahan Dato' Yusof Haslam. Wati merupakan kekasih Awi, seorang penyanyi rock yang terkenal. Namun, abang kepada Wati, Azman tidak merestui hubungan mereka kerana sebuah sejarah kelam yang tragis. Percintaan Wati dan Awi turut diuji dengan kehadiran seorang penyanyi baru, Ziana. Sejauh manakah cinta mereka? Dapatkah Wati dan Awi terus bersama? Jangan lupa untuk menyaksikan lakonan hebat Awi, Era Fazira, Ziana Zain dan Mustafa Kamal dalam Sembilu. Sabtu, 5 Mac, 8.45 malam di TVS saluran 122 Astro dan My TV.
Yang kami faham pakai mask.
Jarak mesti at least 1 meter.
Wash hand frequently. Tak mestilah pakai facial mask.
Penjarakan sosial.
First of all, macam kita masuk mall kan, sini-sini kedai mesti scan.
Sentiasalah jaga doktor.
Kita jaga kita.
Kita jaga kita.
Kita jaga kita.
Kita jaga kita.
Welcome back to TVS Nightline. Now, over 700,000 individuals, or 21.2% of the child population aged between 5 and 11 years in Malaysia, have received the first dose of the COVID-19 vaccines under the National COVID-19 Immunization Program for Children, or PICITS, as of yesterday.
Based on the COVID Now website, 61.4% of the adult population in the country have received the booster dose, and 97.5% have completed their vaccination. Meanwhile, 22,227,035, or 98.7%, have received at least one dose of the vaccine. For adolescents aged between 12 and 17, a total of 2,800,143 individuals, or 90% of the group, have completed the vaccination, while 93% have received at least one dose of the vaccine. A total of 132,371 doses of the vaccine were dispensed yesterday, bringing the cumulative number of vaccine doses administered under the National COVID-19 Immunization Program to over 60 million. Meanwhile, according to the Health Ministry's GitHub portal, a total of 57 deaths due to COVID-19 were recorded yesterday, with 14 cases in Johor, followed by Sabah 8, Perak 6, 5 cases each in Kedah, Melaka and Selangor, 3 cases each in Pahang and Terengganu, 2 cases each in Perlis and Kuala Lumpur, while Kelantan, Negeri Sembilan, Penang and Sarawak with 1 case each.
Sarawak has been named the state with the highest vaccination distribution under the National COVID-19 Immunization Program for Children, or PICITS. Deputy Health Minister Dr. Nur Azmi Ghazali said Sarawak leads the COVID-19 vaccination rate for children with 37.6%, followed by Melaka with 32.8%.
Kalau ikut negeri yang mendahului lah Sarawak lah 37.6%, diikuti oleh Melaka 32.8%, dan juga Pulau Pinang 27.5%. Ada 3 negeri yang masih di bawah 10%, iaitu Sabah, Terengganu dan Kelantan, yang usaha-usaha untuk melakukan lebih lagi suntikan pada anak-anak ini dijalankan di seluruh Malaysia lah sebenarnya.
Nur Azmi added that there are still states that are still recording low COVID-19 vaccination rate due to the fact that the parents are still skeptical with the efficacy of COVID-19 vaccines and worries of the side effects.
Now on to the next development. Prime Minister Datuk Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob today once again gave his assurances that the government will not close the economic and industrial sectors despite the hike in daily COVID-19 cases in the country. He said Malaysians need to live with the COVID-19 after 2 years of fighting the virus.
He added that although COVID-19 cases have increased to 30,000, cases in categories 4 and 5 are less than 1%. In addition, the high vaccination rates will also enable Malaysia to reopen its international borders soon. The Prime Minister said so at the Malaysian family gathering attended by about 100 Malaysians, including students, at a hotel in Bangkok on Friday. Malaysia has established a vaccinated travel lane VTL with Singapore, while the VTL between Malaysia-Brunei is expected to start on March 1st.
Now, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob is confident that Malaysia can implement the Land Vaccinated Travel Lane VTL by May this year. He said the Health Ministry MOH would be studying several proposals on Malaysia's VTL with neighbouring countries such as Singapore, Thailand and Brunei.
The Prime Minister added that Air VTL is easier to implement compared to Land VTL, as travellers arriving at airports can be quickly screened for COVID-19. However, long queues of vehicles need to be avoided when conducting screenings at the land entry points. Ismail Sabri said the Land VTL, particularly between Thailand and Malaysia, is important because it does not only involve tourism but also bilateral trade, especially border trade, which accounted for half of the Malaysia-Thailand trade, totaling about 44.1 billion ringgit. Meanwhile, he said Malaysia's land VTLs with Singapore and Brunei is important for the cross-border movement of people between the two countries. Meanwhile, on another matter, Ismail Sabri said Malaysia and Thailand had agreed to recognise their respective COVID-19 vaccination certificates, MySejahtera for Malaysia and MOR Prom for Thailand, to support their efforts in reopening their borders.
Malaysia is seriously concerned over the escalation of conflict in Ukraine and strongly urges all parties involved to immediately take steps to de-escalate and prevent devastation and loss of lives. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said every effort should be redoubled to seek a peaceful and amicable solution to the conflict through dialogue and negotiation based on international law and the United Nations Charter.
He added that the UN Security Council must carry out its primary responsibility for the maintenance of international peace and security. Meanwhile, Ismail Sabri said the Embassy of Malaysia in Kiev is currently undertaking evacuation of the remaining 8 Malaysian nationals and 2 of their foreign dependents from Kiev. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday announced a special military operation in the Donbas region of eastern Ukraine. Following that, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky declared a state of emergency throughout the country. Ukraine has also announced the closure of its airspace for public use due to the high risk to civil aviation.
3 young siblings were burnt to death in a fire that occurred last night at their family's house in Kampong Seberang Kedai in Lawas. They were later identified as 4-year-old Muhammad Hezdi Huzaili Azri, 7-year-old Muhammad Hazmi Huzaili Azri, and 8-year-old Muhammad Hezri Huzaimi Azri.
According to the Sarawak Fire and Rescue or Bomba Operations Centre, it received a distress call on the incident at 11:02 p.m. through the MERS 999 system. Upon receiving the call, a team of firefighters from Lawas Fire Station was immediately dispatched to the scene. The family's double-story house, which is a semi-permanent structure, was destroyed in the fire.
Ini melibatkan satu keluarga dengan 9 orang mangsa secara keseluruhan. Difahamkan 3 orang mangsa berjaya menyelamatkan diri manakala 3 lagi berada di Bandar Lawas. Dan ketika kita memeriksa lokasi kejadian, kita menjumpai mayat 3 adik-beradik yang berusia dari 4 hingga 8 tahun ini dibawa di tingkat bawah rumah, iaitu di tiang nombor 3 hadapan rumah. Mayat mangsa diserahkan kepada pasukan polis untuk tindakan lanjut. Sehubungan dengan itu, saya ingin merakamkan takziah kepada keluarga mangsa.
The surviving family members are the father, mother, and 2 other siblings of the victims, aged 12 and 14 years old. Their grandparents, who are 72 and 73 years old, also managed to escape the fire.
Every day has a story to tell. But how well you tell a story is a different story. Let's join Yasu and B to explore the craft of story. You will learn how to structure and craft your idea to create a story to communicate with your audience. You will see a lot of beauty in the craft.
Kepada sesiapa yang ada cinta misteri, sila hantar cerita anda ke misteri kedai gunting @TVSTVMY.
Dalam kita membangunkan aplikasi yang memberi kesejahteraan kepada negara, ada yang menyalahgunakannya. Sejak kebelakangan ini, terdapat peningkatan ketara dalam penyebaran maklumat atau berita palsu yang boleh menimbulkan kekeliruan dan kegusaran di kalangan masyarakat. Ancaman berita palsu tanpa verifikasi sumber, fakta dan maklumat memberi impak serta implikasi negatif kepada rakyat dan negara. Sebarang penyebaran berita palsu akan dikenakan tindakan undang-undang serta didakwa mengikut Seksyen 505 Kanun Keseksaan dan Seksyen 233 Akta Komunikasi dan Multimedia 1998. Denda maksimum RM50,000 atau penjara tidak melebihi 1 tahun atau kedua-duanya dan juga denda selanjutnya setiap hari kesalahan berjumlah RM1,000. Bersama, cegah berita palsu. Sebar fakta, bukan dusta. Tidak pasti, jangan kongsi.
Thank you for staying with us. Now on to some global affairs. The streets of Kiev on Saturday, February 26, were virtually empty as Russian forces appeared set to enter Ukraine's capital. Eyewitness driving through the city in the early morning saw no sign of Russian forces as they drove into the center.
Sirens can be heard ringing from the city through the evening. Dozens of casualties were reported and hundreds were wounded. The capital came under attack on Friday, February 25th morning, while a missile hit the airport in western Ukraine.
Now wrapping up TVS Nightline. Poland will not play its Football World Cup qualifier against Russia next month, following Russia's invasion of Ukraine. President of Poland's Football Association, Cezary Kuleza, said the association was in talks with its Swedish and Czech counterparts regarding playoff matches set for March to fill a slot for the FIFA World Cup.
In a Twitter post, Kuleza said the decision to not play the Russian Republic was made in light with Russia's aggression against Ukraine. He added that they are in talks with Swedish and Czech association to present a united front to FIFA. Poland captain Robert Lewandowski backed up the decision, saying he could not imagine playing against Russia in the current situation. Russia is scheduled to host Poland in the semi-finals of its strand of the World Cup playoffs on March 24th, and if its team advances, is scheduled to host either Sweden or the Czech Republic on March 29th in the Path B final. FIFA, however, did not immediately respond to a request for comment.
And that concludes TVS Nightline for today. Once again, I'm Hari Zainuddin. It's been a pleasure.